But then, he said that masturbation is a sin because it's a form of homosexuality because you're touching yourself. But like, I don't know anyone who masturbates while thinking of themselves. Like, I've never been like, yeah, my balls. Why would you do that? I'm weird. For an STD that causes cervical cancer in women, right? But some of these far-right religious groups don't want kids to have the vaccine because they say it's going to make teenagers think about sex. You know what'll get a teenager to think about sex? Anything. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? Like when I was 15, I was like, is that a McDonald's? I just came. That's what I did when I was 15.
My favorite compliment ever, and I've gotten this a couple times at shows, is when I do like in like kind of red states, where people are like, I didn't agree with a fucking word you said, you're funny as dick, or like whatever.
Right.
And it's like, good. Like maybe now, I don't think I can like change the world.
Right.
But I don't think that Republican's gonna suddenly like, well, you were funny and I'm gonna go get gay married and open a mom and pop abortion clinic. But but maybe he won't think that liberals are such elitist assholes, or maybe he didn't feel talked down to. Right. You know, like if I got up and just started, being like, here's my agenda, here are the facts, here's people, they don't want to hear it. Remember, we elected George Bush twice because we wanted to get a beer with him. You know what I mean? But I feel like again, if you can laugh about it. Like the second you can laugh at yourself, like that's when you can start to examine yourself.
Totally. I mean, that's why you have to be highly intelligent to construct humor, because you're taking reality and you're climbing up top of it, flipping it around a little bit, and coming back in a way that makes people laugh. I mean, that's an intellectual exercise that a lot of people can't do. And write down, do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Do it night after night.
Yeah,
That's where the ballet part comes in.
Yeah,
Working in Vegas, you're doing 6 nights a week.
Yeah, sure.
But what was I going to say about that? So which side of the? I mean, you were talking at length, and the other thing I was eavesdropping a little bit about feeling like that modern religion kind of crushes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total excuse to stop asking questions.
That's what you were talking about.
Yeah. No, it is, and
now you're talking about organized religion.
With that, I'm talking about, and this is where I get shit from even my liberal friends. From that,
bring it on.
From that, I'm talking about modern religion. I mean, you guys seem like you have an artistic enough publication where they know that. Hardcore evangelical Christianity or religion is kind of retarded.
Right, right.
Where you're going to restrict science, and you're going to, you're going to say that you're pro-life, and you can't abort a bunch of cells, but because Jesus didn't want you. But you can shoot a doctor
on his way into work.
But you can shoot a doctor.
A full-grown human.
You can go to war. You can institute the death penalty.
Right.
If you just take an abortion, it's even more ridiculous because. You're saying that you can't get an abortion, but you also can't use condoms because the only reason for sex is to procreate. So now
it goes on and on.
Right. So now you have these kids.
Yeah, it's like a cancer. You can't stop it. It like you said, it's insidious, and it gets all the way into.
Yeah.
You were talking about it was what was the thing? It was like this. Abstraction of that thought all the way to the most ridiculous ends.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, here's the thing, not to sound pervy, but kids are gonna fuck. Like,
that was it, about not allowing women to have
and it's like, kids are gonna have sex. They're gonna do it. Sorry, like, and it's like, but people, they hand out these abstinence packages instead of condoms.
Right.
And then, and the ironic part is those are the same people that, don't want kids to have abortions. And it's like, well, if you find the middle ground.
Right.
Which is, so you hand out condoms. So, again, no one thinks abortion's awesome. I mean, that's not good for the girl.
Right.
I mean, that can't,
nobody wants
at
to
the very
work.
Yeah. At the very, most, it's it's an emotional experience for a girl. And, so let's try to prevent it.
Right.
So if you have these people who are so adamantly pro-life, teaching about safe sex, and, abstinence only programs, statistically, the places where they have those have the highest teen pregnancy.
Now,
so it's not
weird?
fucking working, and that's science. Where it's like you see statistically this isn't working, so let's stop. Whereas if you have the Bible telling you, nope, it doesn't matter what the facts say, you know, and they keep doing it, and then that causes more abortions.
It's even weird that you and I mean, you're really young. You're like, how old are you? 25?
25.
I'd love to hear a guy, especially espousing, you know, the not even pro-choice rhetoric, just you know, the facts. Like, come on, you know, this is ridiculous in a very nonsensical way. And yet, it's so sad and bizarre that you and I are still, again, another subject. Why are we still discussing this?
The minority.
Roe v. Wade, it's like so old. What are you guys doing? Are you crazy?
Not only
women have a right to control their own bodies. Get away.
We are one judge. We're one judge away.
It's weird. It's frightening. It's frightening to me, and I'm not even, you know, worried about that.
Well, and again, I think the problem is that
because I never have sex, so you know what I'm saying. It's not a concern for me. I haven't had sex in years. So I'm not worried about having an abortion. However, I'm concerned for my sisters.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. Like, where it's like, I agree because I'm not going to get pregnant either, and I'm concerned for my sister. I am.
God.
And
let somebody else breed them.
Yeah, but I just it's so. Here's where, and I don't feel like this is talked about enough, where, again, people talk about the extremism. It's easy to be like, oh, Mike Huckabee's fucking crazy. Although likable, crazy. Even I find him likable. I saw him say it live. I'm like, oh, he's a funny guy. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. He's fucking crazy and can be president.
And can have his finger on a button.
Yeah, but here's the problem with moderate religion is when I was agnostic for so long, where...
Agnostic, that's when you...
Agnostic that...
You're not sure.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm not big into organized religion, but maybe there's a guy. And here's the thing, technically, and Richard Dawkins, who's the most prominent atheist writer, New York Times bestseller, professor at Oxford and England, even he says technically he's an agnostic. He's demonized by the right as like the biggest atheist. Even he has been humble enough to say, I'm agnostic, and I agree with this, where technically, if right now we're doing this interview and someone crashed through the ceiling like the fucking Kool-Aid guy and was like, I'm God, as an atheist, I wouldn't be like, fucking no, you're not. Like, that, okay, I was wrong. That's fine. Whereas agnostic technically means like, you don't know.
Right.
But I think people...
And you feel like you're between those two?
No, I mean, I don't believe in God, but again...
If he showed up...
The point of, I think, atheism is you're always asking questions, and it's just about scientific inquiry.
Yeah.
Whereas, if someone showed up and was God... there's another great atheist, Daniel Dennett, who someone asked him a question, and he goes, what would you do if you got to heaven and there was a God? And he goes, why don't you believe in me? He goes, I would say, you didn't present me with enough evidence. And I think that's great. Like, you know, if there really was a God and he created free will and he created a sense of humor and he created all that stuff, then he would be like, fair enough, dude. Like, if you were a good guy...
Yeah, but don't you think, aren't you starting arguing against your own argument? I mean, you're acknowledging that the universe is filled with miraculous wonders, like humor and art and music and stars and galaxies exploding. Whatever your conception of God would be, wouldn't that pretty much be the evidence? Like, wow, you know.
No, I mean, I think there's so much...
No?
No.
There's big galaxies shaped like eyeballs out there, man.
Yeah, and that's science, and that's awesome. And what I don't understand is people are like, you know, well, isn't it? It's so beautiful. So, all right, so here's what I'm going with...
But isn't science miraculous?
It's so miraculous.
It's mysterious. So how can that not be holy? I mean, like, holy shit.
It is.
You know?
But but again, it's science. It doesn't mean that there was a higher power that created it. I think, and that's what's so ironic is, you know, you have all these religious fundamentalists who are like, science is just a bunch of intellectuals from blah, blah, blah.
Right.
If you look at the Big Bang, it's wholly beautiful. And you, again, the most prominent atheists say that, like, it was so many coincidences. I mean, the Earth is constantly... This is an argument for atheism as well. But the Earth is constantly... We're revolving around these black holes where you get sucked in at any moment, you know?
But we don't.
And that's beautiful and awesome. But at the same time, it's like, really, God, you're going to put us there where we're almost going to get, you know, sucked in? You look at... another really cool example is the way people say, well, we're intelligently designed.
Right.
You know, if we're intelligently designed, then why do we eat out of the same, you know, hole that we breathe in?
Maybe we're doing it wrong.
With choking. Maybe we are.
Maybe we don't need food.
But that's
maybe we just need air.
But that's the problem. Is with